First of all, new patch comes with major announcement, all classes buffed, and on the next day we got patch notes. Everything is removed, lowered, nerfed, and while most of the classes actually received some buffs, after looking through the forums and Reddit, the most common thing you may find is man, you guys really do not like warrior. Well, there is a reason. Player, minion and monster base maximum block chance is now 50%, previously 75%. People are just mad. I decided to check out what streamers talking about this, and most of them actually telling you that we're losing 50% of EHP. It's completely not true. Let me explain. How block works actually. Block is a type of damage mitigation that typically negate all hit damage. This means whenever you get hit and block activates, you take 0 damage, literally. At the same time, when you raise your shield, you can have guaranteed directional block, but you can be staggered and stunned if you do it continuously. So that's nice to know that we get passive block and active block. Active block when you pick up your shield, and passive block it's just a chance. So you're running around and you basically get chance to block hits. And there's 2 extra changes to block actually. That's why it's not that bad. Blocking is no longer limited to strikes and projectiles by default. All hits that are not specifically unblockable with the red flash can be blocked. So basically big slams of bosses can't be blocked still, but now we can block all hits in the game basically. Another small change, but it's pretty good if you're playing on controller for example. Raise shield or parry now require you to face enemy that is hitting you rather than direction from which the hit originates. So basically if you're standing over here and enemy standing over here, if projectiles goes like this, you don't need to put your shield over here. Just look on enemy and you will be okay. And that's big for controllers because there's auto aim on controller, so it's auto aims on enemies, and basically you will be always aiming at your enemy, so you always will block the projectiles and other stuff. But let's talk more about this big change. If you're not really good in math, you may think that chance is lowered by 25%. Actually, it's not exactly true. And I found this Reddit topic with the guy claiming, can we stop stating block is being nerfed? He got some description over here, you may pause, but I don't recommend it because his math is a little bit off. But he is on the right track, and I also think that idea behind this post is actually correct and describes what will happen. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Taking 50% of hits instead of 25% of hits is 100% more. So technically, yeah, 100% means we're losing half of our effective HP, technically. And that's what most of streamers actually told about when they first checked patch notes. But here is what Jonathan Rogers told us on live stream. It's hard to explain, but it feels better than before. And maybe it's hard to explain, but not for me. And yeah, we will need paint for this example. So let's say we got 3 enemies. All of them will hit for 100 damage for easier calculation. And all of them will make 10 attacks. So 10 attacks each will result in 1000 damage per person with 3000 damage total. Now, in this situation, Old Black with 75% reduction will block 75% of damage. So we will take only 25% of damage, which will be 750 damage total taken. The new block in this situation will block only 50% of damage, therefore we will take 1500 damage total. Again, it kinda proves the point that new block is 2 times worse than previous one. Well, that's only without considering how new block works, because new block will block unblockable hits, and some unblockable hits previously is actually pretty devastating, and that's what actually destroyed warriors before. So in this situation, if just one monster of 3 monsters will make 10 hits of 100 damage and will deal 1000 total damage, these 2 guys will deal 2000 total damage, which will result in this calculation. The old block with 75% reduction will block 2000 damage and will take only 25% of it, so it will be just 500 damage. But we will take full unblockable damage, so guess what, we will take 1500 damage. A new block in this situation will block half of the damage total, since it's blocking all damage basically, and we will take 1500 damage. So if just one monster of 3 monsters dealing unblockable hits right now, the blocks are actually equal. But if we take these guys and multiply them, for example, like this. So we got loads of monsters, because in the in-game there's loads of monsters. And there's many caster monsters which doing some elemental damage that is unblockable right now for some reason. Basically, we will take, for example, 4 monsters out of 10 is unblockable. With old block and 4 unblockable monsters, we will take 5,500 damage, but with the new block just 5,000 damage. The new will be better by 9%. And if there is loads of monsters which doing unblockable attacks, old block will become completely useless instantly. That's why actually armor feels bad right now, because it's not blocking loads of stuff and block not blocking loads of stuff. And that's why probably the new block feels better. Basically, old block in these circumstances, if 2/3 of all monsters on the screen doing unblockable hits, you will take 2,250 damage, but new block will take only 1,500 damage. The new will be better and you take 33% less damage. That's actually a big change, and in my opinion, especially considering that we will get like 100 more monsters, new monsters, there is a chance we will actually benefit from this new stats. If we take last example, basically old block will prevent 750 damage from this example, but new block will prevent 1,500, and 750 is just 50% of 1,500, so we got 100% more prevention right now, and EHP is up by 50% in this example. In reality, EHP of warriors can be buffed even more with new changes, and yeah, the results, warriors are broken, because there's a bunch of extra stuff we need to see in changes of warriors. If you still don't believe me about block, let me quickly show you PoE.ninja. Basically, that's warriors, titans and KITAVA warriors with block chance close to maximum, around like 80% right now, with some buffs probably, I don't know. And they effective HP right now, if you see, will stay around like 15, 20k, 10k, something like this. But what if we take just warriors with block capped at 50? Look, every warrior over here will have block of 50, but HP stays the same, 15k, 25k, it's pretty doable, it's pretty achievable, so there's no problem with having 50% block, and especially if it will block all hits. I don't know, warriors are a lot better right now in terms of block, but there's a bunch of ascendancy changes. First one is WARBRINGER, and while WARBRINGER is pretty interestingly changed with a bunch of extra cool stuff, there is slight problem that you may need to be aware of. There's hidden changes posted after this update. Basically, if we take down these updates to patch notes, it's the bottom of patch notes on forum, and I was hyped about this. Ancestral warrior totem now have no limit, socketed mace skills now have 50% less attack speed. So it's like nerf to mace skills, but we have no limit on ancestral warrior totem. Of course, they instantly reverted this change, almost reverted. They actually kept it, but now we'll require to consume 3 endurance charges to raise totem. So we need to find a way to get endurance charges, and only then we will be able to raise warrior totem. And I don't know, but I don't see how you can get any satisfaction by using this type of totem right now. Having endurance charges to raise a totem is just boring in my opinion. But let's get to our like main and biggest problematic guy, Smith of KITAVA. So everyone is mad about this change. Flowing metal notable passive skill now causes body armor to grant 35% of armor to also apply to elemental damage from hits. Previously caused body armor grant plus 5% to maximum fire resistance. Everyone is mad, but let's just take any random warrior with not best EHP like this. He got 2000 armor. We don't know what exact percent he's blocking because it's based on hit and other stuff. So the harder you got hit, the less armor is efficient. But let's just say you got 75% fire resistance, you got capped resistance, and you got hit for 1000 damage, so you will take 250 damage. It will be taken. With passive note that got removed, we would have 80%, so we would take only 200 damage. Right now this note will give us ability to use our armor as elemental protection. So 35% of armor, for example, armor can be around like... Actually, I don't know how much armor we could have, so let's take out my warrior, and he is at 50% armor right now, but the armor is 1150. So I would say we can have around 70% armor, like reduction, stuff like that, maybe 80% with higher armor. I basically got no armor on me, so it's pretty low. This means we will have 35% of, let's say, like random number, 35% of 75%, which will be around 25%. We don't care about exact number. And as far as I know, it will be applied before reduction calculation of our resistance. So we will take 1000 damage, it will be reduced by 25%, so we will take only 750 damage. And then we will be applying our 75% reduction from fire protection. So first reduction was from this hit, then our fire resistance, which means we will take just 185 damage or something like this. So if your number over here, like damage reduction, is around 50%, and that's just warrior in campaign. I'm not even in the maps yet with this warrior. We probably take a little bit more damage than before, probably around like 220. But when you reach maps, it's just a lot better. And considering we can get this number of applying our armor to elemental damage from hits from passive skill tree, this one is also buffed by around, I don't know, around like 20% increased protection from everything. Also, applying armor to elemental damage is again big deal, as you can see. It can reduce damage even more, so in the late game we probably will get, considering new block and this like change on KITAVA, almost plus 100% more EHP. I don't know, we will see, but I guess like all these numbers of EHP will be doubled on warriors. The biggest hit warriors get is actually passive tree changes. One of the most controversial ones is the Giant's Blood. If you don't know, it's basically a keystone and it gives you ability to wield a two-handed weapon in one hand, as one-handed basically. You can dual wield maces, but there's of course negative effect that it will increase requirements of weapon 3 times. So basically if your weapon is massive great hammer with the requirement of 212 strength, it will require you 636 strength just to wield this massive great hammer, which makes sense of course. However, right now it will halve the amount of life granted by strength, and a lot of people kinda think like why you do it. In my opinion, it's pretty obvious. Not a lot of you know, but there's actually not one weapon type for warriors. A lot of people think that only two-handed maces is like one single weapon for warriors. Well, you didn't know that there is one-handed maces in this game, because why would you actually ever use one-handed mace, which got a lot lesser physical damage than two-handed mace, if you can just wield two-handed mace? It's pretty obvious, no one using those. And honestly, right now this rune is pretty nicely designed. So now you get a choice. If you want more EHP, if you want more health basically, then go for one-handed weapon. That's it, just go for one-handed weapon. You may dual wield them, so you will deal more damage, or you may use one-handed weapon and a shield for better protection, for better EHP. But it's a choice right now, and I like this change. If you don't know, strength basically provides you with 2 points of maximum life per strength, and as always I got some examples for you. We got some nice strength stacking warriors over here, and as we can see there's a bunch of them with like medium health around 4000. So 4000 health for these guys means the normal health without strength is around 2000, because with 1000 strength, of course he will get 2000 HP basically. But with new change he will get only 1000 HP. How bad it is? Well, for his effective health pool it's pretty bad, because he's right now sitting at 13k effective health pool. Here is one more strength stacker, 1000 strength and effective health pool at around 11k. So maybe, just maybe, stop building squishy warriors. Just look at this guy, he got 500 strength, he got Giant Blood, so he would have half health from this strength. Right now he got 1000 extra health from strength, but he will have only 500 extra health. And his health right now sitting at 3800 and will drop down to 3.3k. So roughly it will drop by 15%. And his effective health pool right now is 26k. 26k guys. Minus 15%, he will sit at 24k. He won't even notice any any change. So there is completely no problem. And if you want to keep same health pool but slightly lower damage, then just use one-handed weapons. So yeah, it's a nerf, but not a big one. The one probably a little bit controversial is the Resolute Technique keystone that gives you bonus that your hits cannot be evaded. Right now changed and now grants accuracy rating is double. So it's like 50-50 change. We don't know our new uniques yet, we don't know full passive tree yet, and it probably will be okay. Basically right now if you're playing as warrior, Resolute Technique locates right over here. Yeah, that's Resolute Technique, and honestly if you're starting Act 2 you just won't instantly get over here. So by the end of Act 1 I'm most of the time speccing into like damage as warrior, like full damage, a little bit of extra fire damage on hit, and then instantly to Resolute Technique. Reason is simple, I don't want to miss my attacks, and in Act 2 and forward you start to miss with your mace like constantly. Attack speed is so slow and it's just pain. But here's a fun fact, players now gain 6 accuracy per level instead of 3, so our accuracy is basically doubled right now. Each point of dexterity now grants a little bit more accuracy, but also accuracy fall off penalty now literally interpolates from 2 meters down to 12 meters. The maximum penalty being 90%, previously it was 100%, and technically you got accuracy penalty when targets are far away from you. And I can't find it in patch notes right now, but they got a change that warriors right now is also affected by this. For some reason they wasn't affected previous patch, and when someone is close enough you will have nice bonus to accuracy, and probably we don't even need Resolute Technique right now. So we don't need to double our accuracy, we will still hit our targets. This means we can finally start playing critical strike warriors, because Resolute Technique actually bans you from inflicting critical strikes. So critical strikes on Hammer of the Gods will be devastating right now. And again, I don't know why everyone likes to panic. I like to enjoy stuff and games. So if you're enjoying videos, make sure to subscribe, because there's a bunch of leveling guides, beginner guides, crafting guides, farming guides, and all stuff parts of Exile 2 related coming soon. See you guys!